Hello, Gemini, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent past or current energy and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Gemini, let's jump on in. We're going to look at the overall energy for this reading through Oracle cards first, and then we'll dive into tarot as we progress to get deeper into the story and situation. But we're going to first start with your looking at your recent past. What has Gemini been dealing with in their recent past? Detoxify. With go wild. This is interesting. And then know your worth. Gemini, this kind of feels like either this realization, maybe even multiple realizations, that the things in your life, the people, situation, jobs, weren't aligning with you. And it kind of feels like being open or willing or taking steps toward removing things from your life that were not serving your highest good in some way. But it's kind of funny seeing the like go wild card, because I feel like this is kind of this energy of like maybe reaching some sort of a breaking point or like a last straw kind of energy, and it was just like something that just blew up and you were like, I can't do this anymore, like I'm done dealing with this, I don't want this anymore, I don't want that, and then like it's like when you're done settling with one thing, you're like, I can't settle for any of this anymore. And it kind of feels like it was almost this like instance of, I don't know if raising your standards is necessarily the right word, but just kind of like stepping into this energy of, I know my worth and I'm not going to accept anything less than what I deserve. And I kind of love this for you. But I also feel like, I don't know, it kind of feels like something maybe you've been struggling with, because there's more to it than that. I want this. Actually, I feel like that's going to really help me. So I'm keeping the know your worth and detoxify cards. Current energy for Gemini. So this is like what you've been dealing with. So what does Gemini need to know about where they're at now? Attune to the divine, clear your mind, talk less, feel more, think it through. Limbo, that's what I hear, like this limbo phase. When we start to step into our power, if you will, we go through this phase where it's like you feel really confident, you feel really powerful, you make a bunch of decisions from that place, and then you like enter this period of doubt where you're like second guessing everything, and you're like, well, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or maybe I shouldn't have stood up for myself there, or maybe I made the wrong choice, or maybe that wasn't right, or maybe I made a mistake, and you start to start to want to backtrack, and that's like kind of the whole point. When you finally make decisions in your life to choose to believe that you're deserving of better, to step into your power and to say, I'm worth more, I'm deserving of more, you're facing all of the fear, all of the doubt, and all of the insecurity that goes against that. And as you enter into like this new phase, if you will, you're going to go through a period, and maybe you are currently dealing with that right now, where you face that, where you're like, well, I'm not seeing progress, or, these things that I lost or that I let go of haven't been replaced. I'm feeling a little lonely. I'm feeling a little broke. I left that job that wasn't serving me. And then you start to second guess your decision, which is natural and normal and just kind of part of the process. But I feel like right now, and this has been a theme in like every reading that I've done so far, and I've mentioned it since the first reading that I've done, is that everything is not as it seems right now. And I feel like things are actually working out better than you think. But the thing is, the universe will always respond to who we show the universe that we are. If we show the universe I'm worthy of more, I'm deserving of more, I'm capable of more, the universe then puts us in situations where we basically have to prove that we are who we say that we are. And when you continue to show up, I am deserving of more. Yep, I'm worth more. Yes, I might be doubting, I might be second guessing, but I'm not gonna fall back on my decisions. I'm gonna continue to move forward. That's where you actively create better. You don't create better when you close the cycle. You create better when you decide not to re-enter the same cycle, to create new cycles, to believe in new cycles. And so right now, you're kind of in that limbo phase where you've made decisions, choosing your worth, stepping up, but now there's a lot of uncertainty. And that uncertainty is really freaking scary. But it's also part of the process and part of the journey. So right now, with the Talk Less and Feel More card, with the Clear Your Mind, Attune to the Divine, right now is a time to allow yourself to be where you're at, allow yourself to be where your feet are, and to process and feel every single thing that is coming your way with the acknowledgement and the understanding that everything you think and feel is not a truth. So when you start to feel that fear of, oh my gosh, I made the wrong choice and nothing good is ever going to come and I'm going to fail and blah, 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 that's your ego mind trying to trick you, trying to get you to fall back into old patterns, back into old situations. But you don't want to go back there because you know how things back there feel, right? But your ego also likes what is predictable. Your ego wants to be in situations that feel familiar. Your ego prefers the familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. So here's where you're at. You are in a familiar hell. You're breaking out of that familiar hell and you're opening up to an unfamiliar heaven, but you're in that in-between phase. Okay, so don't allow your ego mind, your brain, your fear, your doubt, and your insecurity to win. Process it, feel it, acknowledge it, experience it, and then let it go. And understand that you're in the middle of a journey. Of course, it's not always that easy, but I do definitely feel like there will be clarity to come for you, for sure. But telling you guys try to hold on, hold out for better when you're in the middle of something difficult or scary or uncertain or whatever the case may be. I know sometimes it can be oh, please just shut up. You don't know, you don't know what I'm going through. You don't understand. So I get that, but I'm just telling you what the cards say. All right. What does Gemini need to know moving forward? It's like your life has been cleared out or is being cleared out of things that aren't serving you to open up the door for a lot better. But I know from personal experience that losing things that don't serve you and that don't align with what you're truly worth sucks. It sucks because in the moment you don't realize that it's okay, sorry, I got distracted. You don't realize that it's happening for your greater good. It just kind of feels like it's happening to you. And you just feel like you're in this energy of loss and lack and stress and, emptiness. But one of the best things that I've ever learned is that when your life feels like it's falling apart, when situations feel like, they're crumbling, it is typically a sign that you are headed in the right direction and that things are going to come together better than you think. You've attuned to the divine again with Be Real. Whoa, that's a lot. Okay. Push through insecurity, see the bigger picture, focus on the positive, and then let your fears dissolve. So this is an energy of alignment. Because attuned to the divine with Be Real, I kind of think of this as authentic alignment, aligning with what's really meant for you, aligning with what you really deserve. So this is where you're headed. You're headed to greater alignment, but there's a lot of scary feelings and situations I feel associated with your journey there, that you're currently experiencing. Not that I'm saying you got a lot to be afraid of in the future. That's not what I'm saying at all. In fact, I feel like you actually don't have anything to fear as you're on this journey into this, whatever this is, very, very aligned situations and opportunities. But it doesn't mean you're not going to. Okay, you don't have anything to fear, but you are going to fear because fear is a natural human response to the unknown. Again, your ego's primary goal is survival. It wants to keep you alive, and it will keep you alive by putting you in situations that feel familiar, that it knows that it can survive. So when you're outside of those situations, your ego's going to go, I don't know if we can survive this because I don't know what this is like. And it happens a lot when you start knowing your worth and standing up for it, because that experience, you're basically like, this is new territory. I don't know what it's like. I've never really set boundaries and stood by them before. I've never walked away from people that don't serve me before. I've never opened up to creating better for myself. So there's so much unknown associated that it's going to come with a lot of feelings, okay? But those feelings are not truths. And that's the biggest thing that I feel like you're needing to know, is that understand that your feelings are valid and you are needing to process them however you need to. But I feel like when you get to where you're going, you have this let your fears dissolve. I also feel like your fears will be resolved too. But I do also feel like, I can tell you that all day long, but the validation that I give you is not going to matter if you cannot give that to yourself. So understanding that this is a time to really lean on belief in yourself. And honestly, like, one of the things that, because I feel like that sounds kind of cheesy, but one of the things that I've really learned is that the more worthy and deserving that you believe that you are, the more that it's easy to like believe that things are working out, because you're like, well, why wouldn't they work out for me? Like, I'm worthy and deserving of good things. But when you've gone through a lot in your life and you've experienced things like not working out, you start to inherit these beliefs that you're not worthy and that you're not deserving and that things will always go wrong for you and people will always break your heart and you'll always struggle financially, and like whatever, situation might be appearing in your life, like that you decided to kind of take your power back from, you acquire these beliefs because of your experience. So your experience is valid, your beliefs are valid, and it's understandable why you would feel and think the way that you do, but you also have the power to break out of those, which I feel like is what you're currently doing right now. As above, so below, as within, so without, as you're transforming yourself from within, as you're allowing yourself to believe you're worthy and deserving of more and to commit to that process, you are naturally, without a shadow of a doubt, going to create it. It's what happens. Like I said, I've experienced it in my own life, in the lives of people that I've coached and helped through this journey, so it will happen for you too, I promise. All right, overall theme of this reading for Gemini, please. These cards are so massive, and I feel like I've been having a difficult time shuffling them this week, so bear with me. I love this deck, though. It's my intuitive life coaching deck, and I am an intuitive life coach, so it makes sense why I would love it. I just feel like these messages are a little bit more grounded. Advice card for Gemini in regard to this reading. Not advice card, overall theme. I guess this is actually kind of advice card. Oh, you have a choice. You have a choice. Okay. You have a choice to go backwards or to move forwards. Like, you literally, right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You have a choice to go back to old cycles, or you have a choice to create new cycles. So you have reconciliation, angel numbers, new door. And then you have trust and forgiveness. So here's the thing. I feel like there are certain things from your past that you kind of had to, I don't know if it's like put your foot down or set your boundaries with or decide to walk away. And I feel like this is not a time to backtrack on the ways in which you have taken your power back. I feel like the universe is opening you up to new experiences and new opportunities that are ahead of you. But you might find yourself wanting to go back to old because you're in between, right? You're in that in-between phase where everything feels uncertain. You're not sure if this is going to be replaced with something better, or something better is going to come along. And that uncertainty was what you were trying to avoid by accepting less than what you deserve in the first place. So you are in the middle of facing those things. This angel numbers is needing to look out for signs that you might be seeing from your spiritual team. Things like numbers like 555, 111. Those each kind of have their own messages associated with them, and ultimately just really are this reminder that you are being heavily guided. And I feel like with this trust and forgiveness card, I feel like you are needing to trust in what's ahead of you, but also find this way to really forgive yourself for the ways in which you've accepted less than you deserve in the past. I know that for me, when I was, starting to take back my worth and I started to recognize unhealthy patterns in my life, I was like almost disgusted with myself in terms of like what I had allowed, how I had allowed people to treat me, what I had allowed into my life, and ultimately, the kind of experience that led to. I was so angry at myself for so long. And I wasn't able to really open myself up to good until I was able to give myself grace and compassion, and to understand that I accepted less than what I deserved because that's what I had been taught. That's what I had learned. But I also needed to learn that, what you experience in this life is going to be a reflection of what you accept. If you accept less than what you deserve, you are going to experience less than what you deserve. If you choose to believe that more is possible, you are going to create it. There is so much power in saying no to what doesn't serve you. So much more power than you even realize. And I think that that's one of the things that I really learned. Like, I have people ask me all the time, well, how do I attract the love that I deserve? How do I attract, what it is that I deserve? And the simple answer that not everybody wants to hear is learn to say no to what doesn't serve you. Learn to get so clear on what it is that you deserve, what it is that you desire, what it is that you want in this life, and then accept nothing less. And I feel like once you are confident in doing that, the manifestation aspect, the attraction aspect, it almost becomes second nature, because you can't be bamboozled by things that appear in your life and try to be good enough. Whether it's people or situations in maybe a career path or whatever the case might be, you're so clear on what you deserve and you're so clear on what you desire that it's easy to say no to what doesn't serve you. We're so far into this reading already. I haven't even gotten into tarot. Okay, let's look at this past energy. Know your worth with Detoxify. What does Gemini need to know about this past energy? Ten of Cups in reverse. You had certain expectations, unmet expectations for the people in your life, situations in your life, and those expectations were not met. And I feel like that's where you ultimately got to that point where you were like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah, I see with the 9 of Wands and the 7 of Wands too, because this is very much like standing in your truth, standing up for yourself, boundaries, all that good stuff. And I feel like it took you a while to get to that point. But I do feel like it's almost like you hit a breaking point. But sometimes a breaking point can be a good thing. It sounds like a bad thing, and it's definitely not a fun thing. But, I certainly learned that change doesn't come until you kind of get tired of the BS. And then when you get tired of the BS, you start to elicit change. Because what you are not changing, you are choosing. One of the hardest lessons I've ever learned, one of the best things I've ever learned. Because when you recognize that, you start to understand, okay, if what I'm accepting is what I'm basically going to continue to receive, then that means I can accept less and believe in more. And when I accept less and believe in more, better opportunities open up for me. And I feel like that's a lot of what this reading is about. But you're breaking breaking out of beliefs and breaking cycles that you've held for a really, really long time, maybe even kind of like generational curses kind of thing. Whether it's like watching your parents struggle through an unhealthy relationship taught you that unhealthy relationships were just the way that things were, or watching your family struggle financially taught you that you will always struggle financially. I feel like you had this breakthrough feels in the past. It's like you had this breakthrough of like, I'm worthy and deserving of more. I'm done accepting less. And now you're on the path to receiving more. But it is a journey. It's a journey because it's going, again, to push you into this energy of facing doubts, beliefs, limiting beliefs, insecurities, fears that have held you back in the first place. So you're doing the damn thing. And honestly, I feel like you guys should be really proud of yourself, because this is a really, really, really difficult energy to embody. It's easy to stay in what's familiar, incredibly easy to stay in what's familiar. It's incredibly easy to accept less than what you deserve and to not make changes, because even though it creates suffering, it also creates this false sense of security because it is predictable. And predictability is the killer of, your dreams essentially coming true, or being able to experience true fulfillment. Because if you're looking for what's predictable, that means you're always going to exist within your comfort zone. And the life that you desire is going to be very, very far outside of your comfort zone. It's going to require you to do things differently, to think differently, to believe differently. Current energy for Gemini: talk less, feel more. Clear your mind. I feel like you got a lot buzzing around up there in that brain of yours. A lot of overthinking, a lot of maybe picturing worst case scenarios, maybe expecting the worst. Again, natural, normal, right? You're outside of your comfort zone right now, which, based on what I just said, is a good thing, because that means you're headed in the right direction. Yeah, Four of Wands in reverse. That's a rough mindset. I feel like right now there's a lot of negativity in your thoughts, and maybe even in the ways that you're talking to yourself. And that's because of the Seven of Swords. There's a lot that is so far out of your control right now. And to be honest with you, Gemini, I think you really hate that. We all do. Humans love control and hate not having it. And when you're outside of the realm of your control, it leaves a lot of room for your fear to have a field day with you, because your ego uses fear as a way to control you. It uses fear to try to push you into what is familiar. So your fear becomes almost like this tool to be used against you. So when you're outside of your comfort zone, say you walk away from a relationship, right? You're finally over it. You recognize you're not being treated like you deserve. You set your boundaries. You walk away. You say, I'm done. You close the door. You move forward. And then you're in this period where, well, now you start to get nostalgic, and now you start to feel lonely, and now you start to wonder if maybe you shouldn't have walked away from that, because that person actually did have a lot of good. And you start to look at it through that lens of nostalgia and rose-colored glasses, and then you start to second-guess yourself, and then you start to think about all of the ways that you might have messed up, because you're going to be alone forever, and it just spirals from there, right? It's a natural part of the journey, but the more aware you can be that it's happening, the less it will control you. And that's the beauty about being human. We are the species that is able to disconnect our thoughts and our feelings from truth. So we're able to recognize and become the observer of our experience, where we're able to say, this is the way that I think, this is the way that I feel, but it's not going to be what I consider truth. So I feel like I'm going to be alone forever. I fear I'm going to be alone forever. I fear I'm never going to find anything better. I fear that the best is behind me, and that I'm never going to have the love that I deserve, and that what is meant for me is past me. But I'm going to believe that that's not the case. I'm going to believe that I'm worthy and deserving of the love that I desire, and that it is on the other side of me fearing that I am not. And that is the journey that you're in right now. You are facing your limiting beliefs in real time, baby. And no, it is not fun. It sucks. But it is also where you start to recognize that you have more power than you think. Because when you are experiencing your limiting beliefs in real time, you have a choice. In that moment, you say, I'm either going to choose to believe that my limiting beliefs are true, that I'm going to be alone forever, I'm never going to find anything better, that things are always going to suck, whatever the case is. Or I'm going to choose to believe that I'm capable, deserving, supported, guided, and all of the things that I deserve and desire exist ahead of me. That's what you're being asked to do right now. And it is so hard and it is so difficult, but try to understand that right now. Don't believe everything you think and feel, okay? Not believing everything you think and feel is the key to creating fulfillment in your life, because your brain, your ego, it will try to take you to, because your brain's a pattern, okay? And it needs things to be consistent. It needs things to be a certain way in order for it to feel safe and secure, even if you don't actually feel safe and secure. So your brain, your ego will constantly draw you toward familiar hells. Your conscious decision to choose better, to show up better, to make healthier choices, to align with your worth, that is on you, okay? You have to override these patterns in your brain. Remember, 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious. Only 5% of the way we interact with our reality is conscious level decision making, which means the majority of the things that you do, the majority of the ways that you respond That's coming from those limiting beliefs. I'm not deserving. I can't have what I want. I'm not supported. Those limiting beliefs, they're in you. And if you don't consciously decide to override them with better action, they will decide for you. And that's what we don't want to happen right now. That's how you repeat cycles and stay in the same place over and over again and feel like you don't get anywhere. Feel like every relationship you ever in or fails, or no matter how successful you get, it doesn't ever feel fulfilling because you're not facing the belief that you're undeserving of the things that you desire. You're always chasing more out of hopes that it'll make you feel like you're worthy and deserving, but you have to feel like you're worthy and deserving first in order to receive the things that you desire. All right, Gemini, let's see. So what can Gemini expect moving forward? I talked all about how this future energy was alignment. And alignment, I think it's such a buzzword these days. Alignment, I'm in alignment. But what it really means is aligning your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions with the life that you want instead of the life you've been living. And that's where we have to understand that what we aren't changing, we are choosing. When we start to realize that we have the power to create the life that we desire, we stop accepting less. So let's see what Gemini needs to know moving forward. Oh, I love this. Okay, 8 of Cups with the strength. It's like the strength and the confidence to walk away from what doesn't serve you leads you to... Okay, wow, this is really breaking it down. Okay, 7 of Wands, 3 of Wands, yep. Oh, okay. Hang on, let me get one more. The Magician. Okay, yeah. So, here's what's funny. Here's what's so paradoxical. Is we try to control our life so that we can get what we desire, right? We try to take what doesn't serve us or take what's less than what we deserve and turn it into something more, right? And we do that because we think that we see that is the only path, right? That's our control. That's our ego saying, this is what I can see. This is what I know. This is what I'm going to try to do. Creating the life that you really deserve and aligning with it in the purest form is about surrendering the need for control and replacing it with confidence and faith. And what I mean by that is trusting that the universe wants you to have good things just as much as you do. But the more that you believe you have to accept less, the more that the universe bringing good things your way isn't going to happen. Because the universe can't bring what's meant for you if you are holding so tightly to what isn't serving you. So if you go back to old cycles, if you even meet somebody new, right? We're talking about relationships a lot just because that's the example that I use, but this could literally be about anything. If you go back to, the same person, or you meet someone new that is exactly like that person that you were dealing with in the past, you are going to find yourself entering into a new cycle. Alignment is about making decisions that don't repeat past patterns. Okay, that's the hard part, is you have to recognize when something is repeating, when there is a pattern, when there is a cycle, when there is a repetition of habit, that you can say, I have the conscious awareness and I am making the conscious decision to break this. So the universe is saying manifesting the life that you want, manifesting the love that you want, the success that you want, all those things is essentially actually very easy. Your humanness, your fear, your ego is what makes it really hard, because it's going to talk you into trying to believe that you can't have what it is that you deserve, so you need to accept less. And the more you accept less, the more you can't have more. So having the confidence and courage to continue to walk away from what doesn't serve you and to stand by those decisions and say no to what doesn't serve you, that's how you create it. That's when you attract it, is when you embody that energy of saying, I am not accepting anything less. Universe, I know my worth. I know what I deserve. I know what I'm capable of. And I am now going to show up and believe that you are going to do your part. Because remember, manifesting a life that you deserve is a co-creation process. You do your part, the universe does its part. So we get frustrated at the universe, right? Well, universe, why aren't you bringing me what I deserve? Why aren't you bringing me the things that I desire? But yet at the same time, we're actually frustrated with ourselves because we're not doing our part. If we're accepting less than what we deserve, waiting for the universe to show up, well, the universe can't show up for us because our energy tank is already full. But if we learn to show up and embody, knowing that we're deserving and worthy of more, and trust the universe is going to do its part, that's where we create it. I know I talked really fast just then, but I was feeling that message. I really wanted to end this reading with some oomph. So I don't know. I feel like you've got a lot of really Really, really wonderful things to look forward to, Gemini. But I also feel like you're kind of in this testing period. It's like you're in this, you have a choice. You can go backwards or you can move forwards. Backwards is the safer option. It's the one that's more familiar. It's the one that's going to lead you back to the exact same place that you are right now. And here's the thing. You will repeat a cycle as many times as you need to, and what it is that you deserve and desire will always exist ahead of you, okay? So this isn't like life or death. If you make the wrong choice, you're never going to be happy kind of thing, okay? That's not realistic. That's not real. What you deserve and desire will always be ahead of you, but breaking out of past cycles, past patterns, past behaviors, that's what's going to lead you toward it. And that's what's hard. We have to learn, and I talk about this a lot on my channel, taking accountability for the role you play in your own suffering is the path to freedom. Because if you are always looking at everything around you and you're saying, this is happening to me, this person is treating me poorly, this is happening, and you're not doing anything about it, you're not setting boundaries, you're not walking away, you're not standing up for yourself, you are in that moment giving all of your power away. So taking your power back is about saying, I'm not going to accept anything less than what I deserve, and I'm going to face the fear, doubt, and insecurity that I can't have more so that I can create it. This is a long reading. Thank you guys so much. We're going to hop on over to the extended. I'm going to dive deeper into these messages, looking at the deeper, looking at what you need to, I jumped to a different type of reading. We're looking at what you need to do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. So really focusing on the tangible advice. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Gemini, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you are needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Gemini.